Hello there. This is the one-take video for Tristram Shandy, a cock and bull story. I have to admit, this has not been a one-take video. I've already had a few attempts. I tend to get a little self-conscious when I'm doing these videos. I've eliminated most of them, but ums used to pop up a lot in these videos. So now I just let the pauses happen and don't try to fill them up with sounds. Like that. I'm also, if you've ever filmed yourself and then viewed it later, I'm sure you've had a similar experience of being very self-conscious about the way you look. So since this is a talking head video, I'm self-conscious about the way my face appears, particularly my nose. Sometimes I wonder if it's too big. Maybe you could tell me. What do you think from the side? I broke my nose when I was in high school playing touch football. Yeah, I don't usually get broken bones when you play touch football, but that happened in my case. I went up to catch a ball, and my best friend Mark Barczyk tackled me. He broke my nose, and I didn't run to the hospital or anything like that. Actually, I walked a couple blocks home. I went into the bathroom, and I saw my nose was broken, and so I basically straightened it out. Not completely, of course, but anyway, it gives my face a character. You may be wondering what any of this has to do with any of what we're doing in this class, and that's a good question. You may have picked up on what I was attempting to do. I was trying to be Shandian. Yeah, you may have come across it in your browsing, but in Tristram Shandy, there's a Slockenbergius's tale. It's all about this guy with a big nose, and it's one of the many jokes of Lawrence Stern in the novel. Also, you may have noticed that in the film, Michael Winterbaum's film, the film starts with a nose being Stephen Coogan getting a new nose, getting a Shandian nose. So so that's just one of the many ways in which the film is very characteristic of the mood and the spirit of the book. And I was trying to do the same by having my little digression about noses. So that's one of the main things that characterizes Tristram Shandy, the book, is it's full of digressions, such that the main hero isn't even born until volume 3. Stern spends the first 2 volumes in his digressions, just building up to that moment. Also, Stern in his book is also very self-conscious to the point of narcissism. So I was trying to reflect that as well, and that little bit about me and my nose, my broken nose. Stern was also well known for his the way he dialogued with his reader, and sometimes with his reviewers in his books. So again, I was attempting some of that. You know, his book is full of asides to the reader, to the ladies and gentlemen, as if he were on stage performing it. So that's an interesting transition from what we just saw last time with The Tempest and Shakespeare, and now Lawrence Stern. Stern was, I find him to be a fascinating figure, not just for what he wrote, but who he was. He was a clergyman. He was an Anglican priest, but he was also a prankster, a jokester. And in fact, he joined this secret society that was all about pranks. But he was very serious about both, and I think it comes across in the book. I don't know about the film, that Stern was very serious about his religious faith, but he was also very serious about his jokes. And his book is full of that, and it spilled over into his life as well. He actually would going to public, impersonating Pastor York, one of his characters. And it would be kind of like, say Christian Bale going to a cocktail party dressed up as Batman, and being serious about about conflating those two identities. Stern did that as well. He was someone that was fascinated by celebrity culture, and as he famously said, I write not to be fed, but to be famous, to be a celebrity, and he was that. And was received that way in the public of his day. So again, the jokes aren't just in the book; they're also in the life of Stern. And again, it's not meant to be contradictory to his life of faith and his life as a pastor and a preacher. So I'm going to talk a little bit about his books now. I actually have 3-4 separate editions of Tristram Shandy, and we're going to look at some of those, and I'll pull some things out of it to talk about, again, the book as a material object, as a form of reading technology. But bibliophiles, and a bibliophile is someone who loves books, find Stern to be catnip, or basically a very powerful drug, in terms of all of the tricks and the jokes that he plays in his book. So again, it's not just the stories he tells, but there's also verbal jokes, puns, things like that. There's typographical jokes in the book, and I'll show you some of those, and also visual jokes, illustrations in his book, and he used illustrations very differently than other people did, as sort of as a parody of the way book illustrations were made. Okay, let's look first at, this is the Penguin Scholarly Edition. This is the one I pulled out a lot of pieces of paper. This is the one I used to, when I was in graduate school, and I did a presentation at a conference on Tristram Shandy and magazine culture. I won't go into that. It's not been published, but if you press me, I'll be glad to send you my rough draft. So this is a scholarly edition, so it has all the notes, it has illustrations, it has critical introductions, it has the works, the critical apparatus, as I said last time. So we'll just look at some of it. And I'm actually going to look at these books and sort of give them a grade, basically, in terms of how true they are to what I think Stern was about, in terms of the jokes he was playing. This one has, and this was in the original, illustrated by William Hogarth, a very famous illustrator of the day in the 1760s. I'm going to do a bit more about Hogarth in the last video I do on Watchmen in the context of graphic novels. So you'll have to hold on for that one. What else do we got? All right, I'll go into that for a minute. All right. Okay. I'll just point out, before I go into the illustrations, let me just point out this, again, a scholarly edition has this sort of thing. So this one has the fortifications. These are very much like the fortifications that Uncle Toby was using to recreate the battle that he was in, the battle where he got his mysterious groin injury. When here's another illustration joke that Stern does in Tristram Shandy. These actually illustrate, in the volumes that he'd done so far, the plot lines. So as you can see, they're full of digressions. Like this one, whoop, back there, and then all the way back here. This one goes loop to loop. They don't actually map out this way, but this was Stern's joke about about his digressiveness. Another illustration joke is this one. This is the squiggle is the motion made by Corporal Trim's stick as he waves it in the air. So that happens somewhere in the book, and Stern felt need to illustrate the motion of the stick in the air. So, of course, it's something completely immaterial. I mean, you can't really capture a picture of that, but Stern wanted to do that and made a joke about that. By the way, if any of you are fans of Kurt Vonnegut, and I am, he also plays jokes with illustrations. In fact, he has one where a prominent illustration in the book, I think it's Breakfast of Champions, is a picture of his asshole. Anyway, when you're talking about Stern, you know, for me anyway, two of the main things that you need to look for that every edition of Tristram Shandy must have are the black page and the marble page. So I think I discussed that somewhat in the film essay. So in terms of the grade for this book, let's see, where's the black page? There it is. This is the black page. So it's black on one side and it's black on the other side. So this edition, the Penguin Scholarly edition, does a very good job with the black page. Let's see, the marble page. That's the marble page. And it's not a marble page. It's a facsimile, a black and white facsimile of the marble page. So this edition does not get good grades for this particular joke. But it does pretty well on all the others. So I've given an A to this edition, particularly in terms of it gives you so much information about Stern in the book that add to your enjoyment of the reading. This is the modern edition, a hardback. So I bought this in some store because it was Stern and because it was a hardback. So, there's look a little. Oh, let me point out first. You probably can't see this, but here, this logo here, the Modern Library logo, the previous owner of the book, with pencil turned it into a duck. So one of the many treats that you get when you buy a used book, you get to see how other people mark up the books. Here, I didn't mention this, it was in the previous edition as well. This is Lily Barillo. There we go. This is the music for the tune that Uncle Toby whistles throughout the whole book. Lily Barillo. So it's there for your, you can whistle along if you want. All right. Let's see. Okay, got the plot. It has the plot graphs. Okay, let's see the black page. Pitiful. Pitiful, I know. That's the black page. It's a little black box. Not a page. This is a very, very poor rendition of the black page. Now the marble page, however, where is the marble page? Oh, okay, that's why I can't find it. There is no marble page in this edition. So I give this one a C. Get some points for being a hardback, but it's got a pitiful black page and no marble page at all, though it does have some of the illustrations. Okay. All right. This is a double edition of Tristram Shandy and A Sentimental Journey, the other book that Lawrence Stern is famous for. So again, it's a combined edition, so I had to get both of them. This is Tristram Shandy, the bigger one. You probably can't see it, but there's also someone put their coffee cup on top of the book. Again, that's what you get when you get used books. Okay. All right, so it does have the stick flourish here. And this is this is more like an artist's edition. I mean, there's no notes, just a few illustrations and whatnot. So nothing too exciting there. All right, here's the black page. And again, it's not a full page. So this edition loses some points for their black page. The marble page is marvelous. Sorry, I just had to do that. But this is a true marble page. This is what it means, a marble page. It sort of looks like marble. But the joke here is that the marble was always in the front, in the back. This part of the book in the back. It's not supposed to be an illustration. So, I mean, the joke is that Stern moved it from the front and the back, and it's rather a utilitarian feature to just sticking it right in the middle of the book. So, okay. I guess I need to give this one a grade, I don't know, B+. So, anyway, I'm hoping you're getting a sense of what I mean by the sort of the bibliographic aspect of the course, the book aspect of the course. And again, the main point I would have to make with all of the stuff that I showed you is, where is it in the film? It's not in the film. There are no, very few verbal jokes that come out of Tristram Shandy. There are no typographical little jokes, no marble page. I have to give the film some credit for attempting to do the black page, which they do with the black screen at the beginning of the film. I thought that was kind of interesting, the way that was done. So again, very few of the verbal jokes, very few of the typographical jokes, and very few of the jokes in terms of the illustrations. That you can't translate to the film. You would think you'd be able to translate visual images, but they don't attempt to do that. Anyway, I'll be doing more in this vein with other films. Hopefully I can upload this one because it's 17 minutes long. Bye.